with Joe Simpson and Jeff Francourt. Chip Carey welcoming you to another exciting night of Atlanta Braves baseball. Tonight it's game 1 of 3 as the Braves delve back in Eastern Division play. Their friends from the South, the Marlins, are in town for game 1 of 3. Very important stretch of baseball for the Atlanta Braves now, who have had great luck within the division. In fact, you look at the Atlanta record against the East, they have the best record within divisional play. They now start a stretch, fellas, of 11 straight games against the division and 11 of 14 against the Eastern Division. Chance for Atlanta, fellas, to get back in first place. They're a game and a half behind the Phillies, and tonight they send Julio to the mound in game 1.
Yeah, Julio needs to bounce back after a rough start down in Miami, and it was partially because of home runs. When you look at Julio's numbers, when he allows 1 or more home runs in a game, 12 different games that he's done that, his ERA skyrockets. 35 walks included in that, 51 Ks, but then things turn better when he doesn't give up a homer.
Yeah, you see it right there. He's got a .7 ERA. Opponents are only hitting 149. He's got 50 Ks. He hasn't, not just last time, he struggled against the Marlins this year, and I think a big key for him is going to get Justin Bour out. That's the guy to me. If he can get Justin Bour out, we might have a chance.
Bour's the big thumper, the last remaining big thumper in the middle of this lineup for the suddenly surging Marlins, who are trying to play the role of the spoiler tonight. Julio's making his walk in to get things started. Beautiful night for baseball lineups, and first pitcher next. Night, as you see on our Checkers weather report here at SunTrust Park, the Braves facing the Marlins for the 4th time here in Atlanta. Braves are 2-1 so far against the Fish on their home turf. Let's see if Julio Teheran, fellas, can improve on that in game 1 tonight.
Well, his splits against the Marlins are pretty obvious. 5-1 in his first 10 starts against them. Excellent ERA. His last 9, not so good. 6.31 ERA. That includes his last start, which was down in Miami. And he gave up 9 runs, 7 earned in 4 1/3 innings. Some of that off of 2 homers. So we go to the Ford Keys. Number 1 tonight, homers. Keep the ball in the ballpark, and he'll have a very successful night. First inning also has been problematic for him in that he has an ERA of 7.65 in the first inning on the year. Goes down in under 2 in the second inning. But 6 of his 20 homers he's allowed this year have come in the first inning.
And he'll be facing a Marlins club that will have Derek Dietrich leading off for Don Mattingly. The Miami skipper. Their Toyota starting nine also features Justin Bohr, their cleanup hitter, whom Jeff said will be a key in this game tonight. Starlin Castro, Martin Prado, Miguel Rojas, Magnerius Sierra, their center fielder, and Wei Yin Chen, who also has some very interesting splits that we'll talk about when he takes the mound here in the bottom of the first inning. Marlins have been tough since June the 5th. They are 26-22 on the year. And they've won 9 of their last 15 series. So just because Miami comes to town 15 under 500, fellas, you can't take this club lightly.
No, and I think we look at it, guys, the first 6 weeks of the season, I mean, they were awful. And they would tell you the same thing. But since then, they've been a good baseball team. You just cannot look at the standings and know what they've done the last 50 games.
So Derek Dietrich, former Georgia Tech star, digs in. First pitch from Julio is on the way, and it's upstairs, and we are underway.
Yeah, you got to remember they lost a lot of their key players. It was kind of, for Don Mattingly, tough to figure out, okay, who's going to play and how are we going to fit this all together. And it took them a while, but they're playing well now.
And upstairs again from Julio. Joe, if you recall, his last start, arm side command was problematic.
He was in that right-handed batter's box all night.
Dietrich, 279, 13 homers. Loves to swing the bat. He struck out 100 times in 355 at bats this year. And Julio's still not able to dial in that outside corner yet. 3-0. That one good enough. Strike one. As I mentioned, the Braves are a game and a half behind the Phillies. The Phillies have a 2-game series with the Red Sox beginning tonight. Aaron Nola and David Price are the pitchers at Fenway Park. Fouled away, and Julio's back in the count, 3-2.
You know, it's funny, we're a game and a half behind the Phillies. Obviously, they've played 3 more games than us. But if you look, we've had a lot of rainouts. If you think about it, or I mean, I was looking at the Diamondbacks. I think have played 5 or 6 more games than we have.
Right.
There's a lot of teams that have played quite a few more games than the Braves.
Yeah, and the Braves have played the fewest home games this year. This is only their 50th game of the season at SunTrust. Pitch is inside, and Dietrich with a leadoff walk. So Julio to the stretch immediately with Rookie of the Year candidate Brian Anderson. Jeff, I don't know how much you've seen this guy play, but a former third baseman who's now playing the outfield after the purge of Yelich, Ozuna, and Stanton. This guy is having a terrific season.
This guy's, and he's a great second hole hitter, Joe, because he'll go the other way. And y'all remember seeing his arm last week down in Miami. I mean, that guy,
He can air it out.
he can throw it.
Yep.
Anderson at 285 with 8 homers. Dietrich has only 2 stolen bases, and that's off the plate. Ball 1.
Well, his first inning has been so problematic for Julio. I mentioned his ERA in the first inning. It drops down to 2.25 in the second inning and 3.26 in the third inning. It's just trying to get through this one.
5 balls, 2 strikes for Julio in his 7 pitches in the game. And now he's missing in the left-hand batter's box.
And you see that half of his walks are in the first inning, like you said, Joe. And I think, you know, I haven't asked Julio, but I'd be interested to see if he's changed up his pregame routine down there throwing. If he's tried throwing more, throwing less. You know, you think he might try something.
Sure. You know, we've talked to Tom Glavine about that a lot.
Glav struggled.
He had trouble in the first inning, and he tried different things, tried to shake it up a little bit.
His mindset was, though, okay, I'll get the run or 2 out of the way early, and then maybe they don't get any more the rest of the way. 2 balls, no strikes. Got that one called. 2-1 the count.
Well, I think it'd be different if that's where it stopped.
Right.
You know, if you knew after that inning. And I think for Julio, talking to him, I think the most frustrating part is, and he'll tell you himself, is not knowing which guy right now you're going to get out there.
And that's why he's 7-7.
In the air to straightaway center. Ender got a terrific jump. That ball carrying to the fence, and it splashes down over the boards for a 2-run homer. So that, in a nutshell, sums up Julio Teheran's first inning in 2018. And Miami has a 2-0 lead.
Walk and a homer, bad combo. That one leaked out over the middle of the plate. And we were talking about Anderson being a Rookie of the Year candidate. I think you're right on target, Chip. The guy is having a sensation.
Right, Anderson doesn't miss.
And we talk about the two things that have plagued. I mean, you just said it, Joe, on the 4 keys to the game 6 minutes ago. Walks and home runs. First two things that happen in this game: walk, home run.
So you got to reset and start over with JT Realmuto. That's not an easy task. Realmuto, the 6th best average in the league. And he swings the first one, pops it up. Tyler Flowers near the screen, won't have a play. It's a couple of rows deep. And strike one. Realmuto really helped the Braves the other day down in Miami with a bloop hit over Bryce Harper, who was playing first base for the Nationals. They had a 5-man infield. And Realmuto, with a Texas leaguer, brought home the winning run for the Marlins the other day. And Bryce Harper, with the most cryptic of comments, said, well, that wouldn't have happened if he was with us. And the Marlins and Nationals have apparently been linked to a deal at the deadline for JT Realmuto. Obviously, nothing has happened in that regard. And you look at this guy's numbers, you can understand why any club would want him. And also why the Marlins would love to try to keep him. He is an excellent player.
And I think you look with the trades they've made in the past, Washington, I don't know that they have the prospects to get him. The Marlins, for the most part, they don't want major league guys right now. They're building.
Little pop toward first. Freddie on the run, and he won't have a play.
And you think about the guys they've traded for the last couple of years, they've had to give away some of their prospects to get them.
Well, their #1 guy is Robles, and then Soto came up because Robles was hurt. So you know that Miami is saying, yeah, we want those guys.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll take them. But
neither one of them have that much major league time, but they're their top 2 players.
They ain't giving those guys away.
And that's kind of similar to the price that they wanted from the Braves.
Well, and quite frankly, if I had JT Realmuto on my team, I'd be asking for the same thing.
Sure.
I ain't giving away for nothing less than that.
And as we heard down in Miami when we were down there last week, Marlins want to know if Realmuto wants to be here with them long term.
The 1-2 pitch is rolled foul.
The 2-run homer by Julio. Now 38 of the 58 runs he's allowed this year have come by a home run. That was the 21st he's allowed.
Still without an out.
When you think about it, if you throw like he does and really tight slider a lot of the times, fastball's moving, but if you're missing over the plate to these big league hitters, they're going to make you pay.
Realmuto swung at ball 3, and he fouls another one off. Just looking at Julio's body language, he's wondering what's going on. He cannot find the strike zone consistently here. 17 pitches, 9 strikes. There'll be an out. That one's popped up center of the diamond. And Ozzie in on the grass makes the play for out number 1.
As we have seen from Julio, with this follow through that doesn't have him falling off the mound, he's more directly in line facing home plate. He may have lost a mile or 2 on his fastball, but the location when he first started doing this was really good. He was really spotting that fastball as a result. That hasn't been the case in Miami or here so far tonight.
Justin Bohr, the batter.
The thing that gets so tough now is, I know as a hitter, you went back and you start overanalyzing, looking at film. What was I doing when I was good? And you can do 100 different things, and sometimes you can overcomplicate it. And you hope he's just not got so much going through his mind right now that, you know, he's just clogged out there.
And he wanted that call and didn't get it.
So here's Justin Bohr, the big Marlins first baseman, has got 7 hits, including a homer against Tehran. And they've got Tyler Flowers behind the plate. 2 balls and a strike. Bohr was a former Cub, but was blocked by Anthony Rizzo. And the Marlins got him, and he's turned into a big thumper in the middle of their lineup. But it's a very different year for Bohr without Yelich and Ozuna and Stanton batting around him. As a result, Bohr has walked 65 times this season. Teams are pitching around him. He chased that one for strike 2, 2-2.
I remember when I got traded to the Marlins, and they had Chris Johnson at that time platooning with Bohr, and then Rojas played a little bit of first. And I remember talking to Donnie about it, and I said, this guy deserves a chance to play every day and see what he can do, because I just always liked him.
Freddie Freeman, a nice play at the line, and he beats Bohr by 2 steps, 2 out.
That's because as an Atlanta Brave, you saw a lot of damage that he was doing
Yeah, that's true.
to your team.
He's one of those guys, I think, when you see him up at the plate, you know that something good has a chance to happen.
Fantastic low ball hitter.
And that'll bring up Starlin Castro, the Marlins second baseman. Castro second among all second basemen in hits in the National League to Scooter Gennett. Castro has 119 of them. He came back in the Giancarlo Stanton deal with the Yankees.
You know, there's a lot of noise when he first came back. He didn't want to be there. He said he wanted to go somewhere else.
Right.
But you talk to him now. I talked to him last week. He's loving it there. He's playing great, having fun. Been a good pickup for them.
Yeah, he just had to get his mind right.
Yeah, it's tough, you know.
Castro signed through the 2019 season. And quite frankly, with some teams looking for second baseman, I'm surprised his name hasn't popped up more frequently in possible trade discussions. Remember, the Brewers went out and got Mike Moustakas. They're going to move their starting third baseman Travis Shaw to second base. Well, they could have maybe gone after Castro, who's a natural second baseman. See how it works out. That's bounced into the Miami dugout foul. 1-2 the count. Trade deadline 4 o'clock Eastern tomorrow afternoon. There have been a few trades today. One very big one made with the Blue Jays and the Astros that we'll tell you about a little later. The 1-2 pitch is poked into center. Castro went down and combed that into center field. And the inning continues for the Marlins.
That's exactly what he did. Because he was fooled and his hind pockets were headed one way and the bat was going the other. Somehow he reached that.
Yeah, it's one of those there. Julio made a nice pitch right there. That's when you tip your hat and say, wow.
Nice applause for the always popular Martin Prado here in Atlanta. Marlins third baseman hitting .245. He's making his way back from injury. In Miami colors, the pitch is fouled away, a strike. And he lost the bat.
He's really been swinging it good lately. He got off to a horrific start, Joe, when he first came back.
Yeah, and the Braves have pitched him tough too. He's just 7 for 35 against Atlanta. But you can always count on, no matter what kind of start he gets off to, you can count on Martin getting it turned around.
Or getting a big hit when you need it.
Yeah.
No balls, 1 strike. Castro at first, 2-0 Marlins on an Anderson homer.
We showed you those numbers Those splits on Julio in his most recent starts against the Marlins have not been very good. As a result, a lot of the guys in this lineup tonight have excellent numbers against Tehran. One of them is Martin, 11 for 32.
The stretch now and the 0-2 pitch. Runner goes. Flowers' throw is high, and they got it. A sweep tag by Albies takes care of Castro at second. He's going to stand at the bag as the Marlins are going to take a look at this on replay.
Might have to see this one again, Joe.
Looked like a delayed steal.
He's safe.
Yeah, I think he might be. It looked like he whiffed on the tag.
That's Dan Bolino who rung up Castro. And as always, the question will be, if the Marlins challenge this, is there enough to change the call, which was out at second base? And Don Mattingly and the Marlins are going to take a look.
Was a delayed steal. Bounce, bounce, go. Watch the glove. Did he tag him or did he whiff on it?
I think he whiffed.
Thought he did.
And I think that's where Dan had a tough time.
Yeah, he was blocked.
From his angle, I'm sure he thought, well, it looked like right there he stunk and he tagged him.
In the old days of replay, if you had real long laces on your glove and those grazed a base runner, those were considered part of the glove.
Oh, you talk about in the old days, if that throw beat you, you were out.
Yeah.
95% of the time, they call you out.
Several of the Braves were walking toward the dugout. Now they're walking back toward their positions on the infield.
But then again, who knows? Maybe New York, they're seeing something different than we see.
Or there's not enough to change it.
You always want to tell the umpires, Joe and Chip, when you see all the players walking back to their positions.
It's pretty good indication.
Yeah, right? He will be called safe.
I always feel like when they get it right, it's not for us.
We have not had much luck at second base. But I think you guys called it correctly. And on review, the call is overturned. And Castro in scoring position for Prado, who has a 1-2 count now. 30 pitches for Julio Tehran in the opening inning. A minute 23 seconds on that official review. Let's see if Julio can finish off Prado and get Chen to the mound. 2-0 Marlins. And a slow roller left side. And Camargo's got it. Castro avoids him, and that will retire the side. A walk and a homer continue Julio's first inning troubles. It's 2-0 Fish.
Sean Newcomb's masterpiece. Atlanta hit a home run in that ball game by Nick Markakis. They'd love similar production from Nick and the rest of the Braves on the Toyota starting 9 tonight. No surprises for Brian Snitker's lineup in game 1 of the series. They hope to jump all over Wei Yin Chen, who starts the game for the Fish. And you talk about weird home road splits. Well, Mr. Chen is the exhibit A of that.
No doubt about it. Some of the craziest numbers in baseball in terms of pitching at home or on the road. 1-5 is his record, but check out the ERA difference. More than 8 runs difference in ERA home and road. He pitched a good game against the Braves down in Miami and got a win. 6 innings, 3 runs. Gave up a home run to Camargo.
He's the 5th left-handed starter faced by the Braves in their last 6 games. And a strike to Acuna gets Chen's night underway.
Phil Cousy gave him the corner there.
He went around 0-2. That's Jansen Visconti, the umpire at first base. Haven't seen him before.
Cousy, Visconti, and Bellino, and Hamari, your umpires.
They'll be heading to a
Typical
nice little German restaurant after the game, right?
No complaints because they know people.
Yeah, don't double cross them.
Popped up right side. Long run for Bohr. Anderson's coming in, and he'll make the play for out number 1. So Ronald's retired. Here's Ozzie. He's got a 3-game hitting streak. 3 hits in those 3 games. As Wei Yin Chen coming off a 101 pitch performance in his last outing against the Braves. 3 runs in 6 innings. And his 3rd victory of the season. He pitched here in late May, gave up 5 runs in 5 1/3 innings, got a no decision in a 10-9 Braves win. And a strike to Ozzie.
He's kind of got that sneaky 92 to 93 that
hides the
kind
ball
of a
well.
short. Absolutely. And that's what makes his changeup when it gets 85, 86. Because even from here, sometimes you got to look at the miles per hour to see what it is. Fastball changeup look the same sometimes.
Well, this guy had some terrific years with the Orioles. 12-game winner in 2012, a 16-game winner in 2014, went 11-8 in 2015. Then the Marlins signed him to a long contract. And he's won 11 games in 2.5 seasons in South Florida. Elbow problems have plagued Wei Yin Chen, who's now 32 years old, out of Taiwan.
Especially if you think about it, those 3 huge years he had in Baltimore. If you've never been to Baltimore, it's a hitter's park. Ball jumps out of there. So you got to figure take him to Miami.
Oh, sure.
And that spacious outfield, let him hit fly balls all day long. But I think you said it. He hasn't been able to stay healthy.
Well, the big secret to his success in Baltimore was he didn't walk many people. The most walks for him was 57 in his first year, then 35 in 185 innings, and 41 in 191 innings in 2 of the next 3 years. But he's got a full count for Ozzie here with Freddie Freeman lurking in the first inning. 2-0 Miami, just underway at SunTrust. Popped up. Real Muto is there, and Ozzie swung at ball 4, it looked like, and pops out to the catcher. 2 outs.
Kind of where the Braves got it all started yesterday. 2 out, nobody on. Freddie got a base hit. Markakis doubled, Suzuki doubled, and they were on the board early. Take some 2-out magic again today.
194 2-out runs for the Braves this year, second only to Milwaukee in that category in the National League. Freeman 5th in the league in hitting at .313, and as you know, he clubs left-handers at a .341 clip. And he's hit Chen especially hard. 7 for 15. A generous strike there.
Wow.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, it's a good bit off the plate there. That had to be a fun game to call yesterday.
It was unbelievable.
So exciting. And disappointing at the same time, the way it turned out for Sean.
His fastball was so good, he could have thrown that alone and had a chance. Threw over 100 fastballs in 134 pitches total against LA.
I was telling you, we were, I obviously was up at Cooperstown with Andrew Jones and Clancy and his buddy, and we actually kind of delayed a little bit to find out how Newcomb turned out before he flew back. On Air Jones, of course.
Of course.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And downstairs, I mean, Brian Snitker said after the game it was so exciting, and Sean came so close. After he gave up the hit, you almost felt like you lost the game.
Yeah, all the air went out of the stadium when that happened.
But still a great performance. Gave him a chance to finish off the no-hitter. 134 pitches. Almost never see that in today's major league game.
And I know he afterwards said that he was getting a little tired, but he didn't show it. He was still popping 94 with no trouble in the 9th inning.
And a big guy like that, he's built for that. Not every time out, but sometimes, yeah.
2-2 pitch. A broken bat roller toward Castro. And Chen will have a 1-2-3 inning as he protects a 2-0 lead in Atlanta.
To you by Xfinity. Xfinity delivers the fastest internet with the best in-home Wi-Fi experience. And by Delta Airlines.
Marlins 2, Atlanta nothing after 1. We invite you to join us for the 9th annual Alumni Weekend, August 10th, 11th, and 12th. Great events all weekend long. Autographs. We'll have a Chipper Jones pregame ceremony. And folks, we are going to break some news tonight.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jeff Francoeur will be participating in the Alumni Softball Home Run Derby and try to dethrone, I believe, reigning champion John Smoltz.
No, Ryan Klesko.
Oh, it's Klesko.
Klesko. That's going to be a tough one to beat. He's got the perfect swing for that.
He does.
But I'll tell you what, I'm going to swing my oblique out until it blows.
That's the format to do it.
Pretty much.
I mean, I remember a couple of years ago when John was in town. He was running all over the field like a little 8-year-old kid. He was jumping over fences. He was bowling over little kids, trying to get home run catches over the fence.
Well, no, in Smoltz, he actually probably took BP at home before he came on his field. I, on the other hand, will not be doing that.
No. So have you thought about your strategy for softball home run derby?
Yeah, same as when I played. Swing as hard as you can.
Hard in case you
hit it.
Yeah, John probably flew in one of those on the road truckers or whatever those exhibition softball
Oh, yeah,
guys.
yeah.
No, I'll tell you what. Now that if you've never seen that, people, you got to see that. Watching those guys hit softballs for home runs, 500 feet.
The long ball truckers, I think they're called.
Yeah.
As Rojas fights off an 0-2 pitch.
Long haul truckers.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
And I'll tell you this, during the season, you know, you get so many people that come in the locker room or come on the field, and as players, most of the time you go inside. I'll tell you what, when those guys come, you'll see at least 15 players out watching those guys hit those balls.
You know it.
So join us for Alumni Weekend. Right around the corner. As this one's popped up, shallow right. And Nick Markakis will be there for the first out. There's a good start for Julio.
Maybe you should get some video of those guys and kind of watch them hit some balls and watch their launch angle, exit velocity.
I think so. Actually, that's going to be the key is my launch angle.
My bet is on you blowing Hammy out.
I don't know.
No?
I wonder how my golf swing's going to translate. That's the key.
Well, whatever you did, don't do what you did when you played with Joe and got beat. As Magneuris Sierra tries to punt and takes a strike.
And when you're giving him quite a few strokes.
I thought that was behind him.
Still a sore subject.
Yeah. Don't want to rub it in.
Sierra from the Cardinals in the Ozuna deal, a fleet-footed outfielder who made his debut against the Braves on July 24th. He's 3 for 16 at the plate so far with the Fish. To center, and Ender's going to track that down. He gets such great jumps. And Julio's got the first 2 outs. He set down 3 straight. And now he's got Chen, the pitcher.
See, that's the launch angle I need right there. Because obviously they'll have a shorter fence. So it's a home run.
Yeah.
I think the key is, and it might have been Ryan Klesko that was saying this, that you've got to swing at the same angle that the ball is coming down.
Yeah. Well, and you think about it, not only that, Ugla's going to be in it.
Really?
Pipes is going to be hitting home runs.
Okay.
Well, do you have the whole list of
Opponents in
opponents?
that?
I don't. Andrew was going to do it, but I know he had told me that he's got to fly down with little Drew to Orlando for a tournament. So he withdrew. So that's one less guy I got to worry about.
Is Klesko going to play?
I don't know. That's the one that
That's the wild
scares
card.
me.
Yeah.
How about Wohlers? Wohlers might be too.
Javi, if he comes back.
Well, that'll be a lot of fun.
Wohlers will be representing for the pitchers.
Strike 3. Julio takes care of Chen.
There's his second inning.
He has a perfect second inning. Much needed. 2-0. Miami in front.
Built for baseball. We know this guy. His name is Colby Allard. In 18 starts for Gwinnett this season, he has a 2.80 ERA with 87 strikeouts to 33 walks. This is another one of those top 10 Braves prospects that the Braves have been so excited to see what he's able to do up in the big leagues. Well, you guys, we have great news for you. Brian Snitker announced today that Colby Allard will make his MLB debut. He will start tomorrow in Game 2 versus the Marlins. We've seen a lot of this new wave of baby Braves come up, and this is just another one that the Braves are going to be so excited to run out there on the mound and see what he got, guys.
Kate Kelsey, yeah, thanks. That'll be exciting. Always fun to see a young man make his big league debut. I'm sure, Jeff, you remember yours like it was yesterday.
Oh, there's no doubt. And I think it's cool to see him come up. I remember talking to some of the veteran guys when Can came up, and then Kelly before him, and then myself and a couple others. And, you know, that can inject some good stuff into a team. Get them excited, and I think you have some of those guys, they'll be fun to, because you keep hearing about them all the time. And, you know, you can only see such good film in AAA.
Right.
You know, you're ready to see him up here. And I think he's deserved a shot, and I like that, you know, they're going to give that to him.
Well, you heard Kelsey mention on Braves Live the flurry of roster moves that Atlanta made. Brandon McCarthy transferred to the 60-day DL. Sam Freeman to the 10-day DL. And Kelsey will have more on the newest acquisition by the Braves, which was made last night. They bolstered their bullpen. And Brad Brock.
I faced him when he was in Baltimore. He's got good stuff. And I said, I know his numbers aren't what they might have been in the past coming in this year, but we talked about it. When you're on a team with the worst record in baseball, and all of a sudden you get traded over into a race, it can do a lot of great things for you, Chip.
Well, he's picking up 23 games in the standings.
Yeah. Well, and you're throwing meaningful innings.
Right. So Nick Markakis will lead off for the Braves. He's reached base, Jeff, in 16 straight games. He had 3 hits yesterday, including a 2-run homer and a run-scoring double. The old reliable just continues to do unbelievable good work as he taps this one towards second. And Chen's getting ground ball outs. 2 of those out of the 4 he's retired so far. Leadoff man down here in the Atlanta second. 1 away for Tyler Flowers. Tyler at 230, 4 homers, 17 knocked in for him. He too a Brave that's hit lefties hard, a .421 mark. Really the storyline for Chen has been first time through the order he's real tough. Second time and third time through he can really stub his toe.
Well, if you think about it, in Florida, what, 5-6 days ago, we got to him and got back in the game 4-3, I think, right? And then that 5-run 5th happened for Julio in the bottom of the 5th.
It's funny, the Marlins led 2-0 on a 2-run homer from JT Realmuto in that game. Camargo hit a homer. Braves got 2 in the 5th to make it a 4-3 game, and then you're right.
Yeah, Charlie hit the double down the left field line, and looked like we were getting some momentum back, and then it just, you know what really hurt? It was the first pitch of that 5th. Remember, Wai Chen hit a double.
He had the double and scored a big insurance run, and the Marlins put together a 5-run inning against Julio, and that was all she wrote.
I think it's going to be a good race down the finish in the division. You know, you look at it, Philly, we played not great this week, and they didn't make up any room on us, and they played Cincinnati.
Yeah, that was an interesting series. The Phillies hit 7 home runs in the first game and then lost the next 3.
And really the next 3 weren't even that close. I mean, they got beat pretty solid.
Well, they're still beating Boston 1-0. Nola and Price, a classic matchup at Fenway Park tonight. As Tyler way ahead in the count, takes upstairs, and there's the start for Atlanta, a 1-out walk. And here is Johan Camargo, the Braves third baseman with 11 home runs. Jeff, he's our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot.
Yeah, you look at him, he's hit .362 against the Marlins in 20 games. On base percentage, slugging, he's right under .950 with his OPS. You know, I really like the way Johan plays, but especially when he's batting right-handed, I feel really good about our chances of him getting a hit or doing some damage.
Well, he's hit a home run against Chen, 2 career hits. And he could tie the game with one mighty swing here, and he tries to. That ball rifled toward left center field. That's going to bounce to the fence. It hits off the top. Flowers on his way to third. Camargo with a lightning strike double, and the Braves are in business. Good call, Jeff.
Hey, hit a home run against him 5 days ago, and he turns around with this, and that ball was smoked right there.
I'm telling you, when Johan squares it up, the ball really jumps off his bat. Braves, I'm sure, very proud of the progress he's made at the plate. Everybody knew he was a good defender.
I think what's so fun to watch is you look at, remember when Suki, you hear how hard that's hit. When Rafael Furcal was here in Atlanta, I always said he's a good left-handed hitter, but when he would hit right-handed, remember now, he's a massive bat.
Yeah.
But when it would come off his bat right-handed, it made a different sound. And that's Johan to me. When he bats right-handed compared to left-handed, that ball comes off different.
Jumps, you're right.
Ender's often very aggressive early in the count in run scoring situations. Let's see how he does with Chen here. Ender off to a good start in the second half. 10 hits since the All-Star Game festivities. And he does jump on the first one. It's hammered toward left. Dietrich, an odd route, gets there, makes the play, but Flowers will tag and score. Camargo to third on a sac fly. And the Braves are on the board. They cash in the one-out walk and give Ender his 38th run batted in.
Ender didn't have a lot of hits to show for the Dodgers series, but he really squared up a lot of balls himself. He's swinging so much better. Not a way to pick up that first run of the game.
Absolutely, and I like what Chip said. You know, he said he likes run scoring situations to swing early. Lefty on lefty, and that's the one thing he's really struggled against this year is lefties. Don't take that chance. Put the ball in play, and he did his job.
And Miami will intentionally walk Dansby and bring up Julio. So that's the second walk of the inning. Tehran with 4 hits this year, 1 RBI. He may be able to help himself against Mr. Chen, who now leads 2-1.
That's the 10th intentional walk for Swanson this year.
I remember when people used to talk about how I never walked enough. I remember thinking, if I go to that 8 hole,
Yeah,
right? I might get 30 walks on the year.
Fouled at the plate. Strike 1.
Julio got burned by Chen in Miami with a base hit. Maybe he can turn the tables here and drive in a run.
Well, he's back in the game. Not that he was really out of it, down just 2, but 4 straight outs from the hill for Tehran. He's got a run back. First and third. And he bounces another one off his body for an 0-2 count.
That's a pitch that Chen hasn't had to me since he's been in Miami, is that little slider, 85 right there, because we all know he's 92, 93, can kind of sneak it by you. He's got a great changeup, but I felt like the one thing he did so well in Baltimore was throwing that little slider. It's like a little baby cutter in there, but it's just enough that keeps you diving out over the plate, Joe.
And he comes back with his fastball at 92, which makes it very effective when you're still trying to fight off of that breaking stuff. I said a while ago he's sneaky quick. You talked about how he hides the ball well. His motion when he does throw an off-speed pitch is just like his fastball. It's real accelerated. So if you buy into the accelerated delivery,
you're going to be out in front.
You're going to be out front.
Julio's trying to hang tough here, 0-2. And that's well outside.
Yeah, this is the one pitcher. You know, not that he's hitting 167, but I feel like when someone gets intentional walk, he's got a chance to get a hit.
Good at bat.
NCRT with a sac fly and an RBI has helped score the first Braves run.
When you think about it, Joe said what's plagued Chen? The walks. And he walked Tyler Flowers to start the inning, and you see he ends up coming around to score.
Great at bat.
He's battling, isn't he?
Next pitch will be the 7th.
Might try to throw that little cut slider again and make a mistake with it out over the plate, and that'll be right in Julio's bat speed.
It'd be perfect.
Wheelhouse.
Shoot that hole right over there.
So he'll need 8 pitches at least to retire Julio.
And the one thing is, even as a pitcher, I'm sure, because you know, position player, the more pitches you've seen at bat, the more comfortable you start getting. You know, Julio's seen all his pitches right now.
And really confident.
Yeah, you can tell.
Line drive, that's going to get down and tie it. Great at bat by Julio Teheran.
Slider, you called it.
Left it out over the plate a little bit. Julio did get some payback.
There you said it. He's trying to come. Ball's on the inner half, but he's trying to get that thing in, and Julio pulled his hands.
Second RBI of the year.
And you know what I like? If you looked over at first after he got that hit, usually Julio's smiling and all this. You can tell he's mad right now. I like seeing a little edge to him.
So a single on the 8th pitch of the at bat gets the Braves back even at 2 apiece. Now Acuna bats, and he lifts the first one toward right. Anderson near the line is there, and that retires the side. The Braves tie it up. 2 runs, 2 hits, 2 walks, and a big RBI from Julio.
Is sponsored by your local Ford dealer, the Georgia Lottery, and by the All-South Highway Safety Team. The All-South Highway Safety Team reminds you to play it safe by slowing down behind the wheel.
Good comeback by the Braves in the second inning to get it tied at 2 apiece in game 1. Braves and Marlins. And while we have a moment, let's check out this date in baseball history. Way back in 1996, newly inducted Hall of Famer Chipper Jones hit a home run off fellow Hall of Fame class member Trevor Hoffman. And Chipper said in his speech, and I'm paraphrasing, that I never got hits off Trevor Hoffman. Well, he did with a long home run, probably one of those devastating changeups that Hoffman was so known for. And Jeff, you were in Cooperstown. We watched the induction from here in Atlanta. What struck us, I think, collectively was how great all the speeches were. There was such poignant commentary, so many great memories, some tears too. I mean, it was great drama watching from afar. I can only imagine what it was like to be there in person.
That was awesome, and I thought it was so cool because just the type of guys you had in this class. Look at that. That's 2 good-looking guys right there.
The ones in the back?
No, Derek Schiller and Chipper.
Look at Derek Schiller is back there. But I got nothing.
Yeah.
After that, what are you supposed to say?
Derek Dietrich leads off. He walked and scored in the first, and this one's Pop straight back, foul.
I think the cool thing about Chipper was, yeah, he talked about the baseball, he talked about his parents and everything, but for us that have grown up, seen Chipper play, been around him a lot, he said something when he said, for the last 5-6 years, I've finally figured out what true happiness was. And I think we've talked it between us before. There's no doubt he's in a great place now.
Sure is.
Little pop toward third. Camargo takes a peek and makes the play on the grass. There's the first out.
And I said it in pregame show tonight, guys. Taylor, his wife, was the MVP of the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, she was around everything. I mean, you know, she could have got off her feet to this. At Chipper's party at the Farmers Museum from 7:30 to 11:30, she was working the room, walking around.
That was a true definition of a holdout.
No doubt.
Yes, it was. They're awaiting the arrival of little Cooper any minute. So we congratulate Chipper and Taylor on that too, as Brian Anderson bats and takes a strike. It's 0-1. Want to thank our great Fox Sports partners, Paul Bird, Gretchen Caney, Ashley Shahamadi, and Kevin Allison, who are up in Cooperstown, and they worked from sunrise to well past sunset, getting all the video, all the sound bites, all those great features that we've been sharing with you on Braves Live and during the telecasts, and many, many more of those to be coming. But just tremendous work once again by our group and our producer Gretchen up there. Can't thank them enough for what had to be a very enjoyable but incredibly busy weekend's worth of work.
Quality stuff. It looks so good.
I'm telling you, I told you, they were champs. They were out there interviewing at 11:15 at night. At Chipper's party, still getting stuff, you know, and they didn't have to do that. They could have ended earlier or wrapped it up, but they got all his former players, coaches.
So great work. And our thanks to our Fox Sports crew as Anderson awaits a 2-1 pitch that splits the dish. And it's now 2-2.
I think one of the fun things was I got to meet a few Chipper's buddies from back in high school at Bowles. So we got talking football, saying who would win if our team played their team.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's only that can happen, you know. How we would have beat y'all.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And rolled to short. Dansby's got it. And a good throw gets Anderson. 2 out. That's 6 straight retired by Julio.
Another good off-speed pitch there. Had him fooled. I'm with you, Jeff. I think there's a little different look on his face, a little more intensity, even after the base hit. That okay, we're even.
Yeah, and we were talking about it. You know, the Braves got Charlie Culberson's double last week, got us back to within 4-3.
Right.
And you're thinking, okay, here we go. And then Julio gave up 5 runs, and I think after those 2, and you could tell when they hit that home run to center, Julio, he was not happy. I like to see this. I like to see him pitch with a little edge.
You got Real Muto to pop out to second for the first out of the first inning. And all of a sudden throwing strike 1. That always helps. Got the inside corner call there, 0-2. And now Real Muto turns back to Phil Cuzzi. In disagreement.
JT with a 311 average coming into play tonight. A 361 on base percentage. 13 homers. 23 doubles. He's already scored 52 runs. And what's significant about that is that he's a catcher and he's not going to play every day of the week. Get some spot days off. But as we were talking about him down in Miami, he was scouted as a shortstop until the Marlins saw him catch one day when their catcher had to pitch. And that's what prompted them to ask him if he would be interested in catching.
Worked out great for them. When we talk about, especially right now, year after year, it seems that the quality of catching continues to go down.
It's tough to find. And the Marlins have a real good one in JT Real Muto. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss. One of Julio's best fastballs of the game, and Real Muto swung right through it. Julio sent down 7 straight. Ozzy's going to lead off the bottom of the 3rd in a tie game when we come back. Manage your dream team in franchise mode, plus get weekly stats, roster updates, and more. RBI Baseball 18's available now. Learn more at RBIGame.com. Rated E for everyone. Great to be back with you here at SunTrust Park. Game 1, Braves and Marlins. Jeff Francoeur, Joe Simpson, Kelsey Wingert, yours truly, Chip Carey, Chan Hartzog, our great statistician upstairs, David Poole, our booth audio man, Val Burrell, our homeroom mom, making sure everybody behaves on a Monday night.
And that's a full-time job.
First pitch, ground ball to Ozzy, and short. Rojas makes the play, 1 out.
No doubt. She's always adjusting my tie, making sure I'm buttoned up. Don't have French fries all over me.
Here's Freddie. He grounded out. Twins done a good job with the top 4 hitters so far. They are combined 0 for 6. So now Chen's working his way through the order a second time. The opponent's batting average the second time through collectively 286. Let's see if that trend continues in a tie game. This is a big stretch of games for the Braves. Their next 11 games are against Eastern Division opponents. Got 3 with Miami, then we go to New York for 4 with the Mets. Then an open date and to Washington, where a 4-game series will get underway August 7th. That first date, a day-night doubleheader, a makeup date up at Nationals Park. And who knows how differently those 2 clubs will look by the time we get to New York and Washington, with the deadline 4 o'clock Eastern tomorrow. It was said of the Nationals that if they didn't have a big series against Miami, that they were thinking of maybe selling off some of their players, including perhaps Bryce Harper.
I still don't buy that.
I'd be very shocked.
3 balls and a strike, and lifted foul, full count.
I know this for sure. One member of the Mets that's not there, that's a Braves killer, is Asdrubal Cabrera.
Yeah,
he was traded away.
He's now with the Phillies.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of worse.
Well, we don't see them for a while.
That's true.
In fact, we see the Phillies the final 2 weekends. If this race stays neck and neck, Braves and Phillies, that's going to be extremely exciting. So Chen ready with his 3-2 pitch to Freddie. And how did he hit that? How did he hit that?
He does that quite often when you think he's just trying to hit the ball the other way and beat the shift, and all of a sudden he yanks one over Nick's head.
Yeah, Nick always tells me, he's like, I'm on the lookout all the time.
Swing and a fly ball hit deep toward right. Anderson back. It's gone.
And then he does that with the next pitch.
Yeah.
We told you Freddie Freeman rips up Wei-Yin Chen. His 8th career hit against him is a go-ahead homer.
His last homer was a week ago today against Urania down in Miami. Short, quick finish. See ya. Did that clear the bullpen?
No, it went pretty good far over though, but I got a little worried because Anderson was running real hard in right field, but I guess he's young and didn't get the memo that you're allowed to jog.
Well, you know you're not going to get there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Make our job easier.
So 18 homers, 67 runs batted in for Freddie. The Braves are in front for the first time, 3-2. Boston's tied the Phillies in the 5th inning at Fenway, 1-1. Is the count for the Braves right fielder Nick Markakis. And that's well inside, ball 2.
I think the important thing for the Braves, I know it's a trade deadline and everybody will say after this 2 months left, it's a race. But still, you know, I know you'll look at the standings every once in a while, but as players, you just got to take it day by day. You win each day.
Popped up. Bohr at first is there. 2 outs.
I mean, you can drive yourself crazy if you start doing that every night and think we're half a game. Yeah. Now we're one because they didn't play. And, you know, yeah, we're going to do it as the media and to let people know. But as players, you just got to continue to play.
But I think you guys would collectively say you have to feel pretty good that you're a game and a half out after dropping 15 of 25 games. I mean, nobody's been able to pull away in the division. And the Braves have had their cold spell, it looks like. Hopefully they're coming out of it these last 2 days.
A couple of long balls, some situational hitting, good fundamental play.
Well, and hopefully between getting a couple pitchers, maybe we can get a breather to some of those other guys down there and let them build back up for the stretch run.
Yeah, Brock was a real nice pickup from Baltimore.
I thought so too. And I think it's a hard job for Alex right now. You know, you're scared to trade a couple of these guys. You haven't seen them enough. You don't know. And do I trade this guy away? And next thing you know, he goes off to win 20 games in 2 years. You know, a lot of times you think about it, guys, when you get a new GM, most of the time it's a complete rebuild. You know, you're not trading guys off. You're giving them away to get guys back, not the other way.
Yeah, the new GM comes in because things weren't going well.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Whereas he's come in and all of a sudden.
It's a very unique situation that he inherited.
Absolutely. And I think you saw him. He said, hey, I'm glad I inherited it this way instead of the other way, but we're going to be careful and smart with our decisions.
Well, he said they're not going to trade away any young players for rental players. Got to like that.
That's pulled foul at third. And as you know, Alex is not afraid to make a big deal. He got Troy Tulowitzki, got David Price. I mean, he's done those big mega deals at the deadline.
Tulowitzki was a great pickup at the time.
Right. I'm happy and really proud of Alex for kind of keeping his powder dry to buy as much time and get as much information as he can about the system, Jeff, that you were talking about, so that whatever move he makes, he's quite obviously confident in being able to do it.
Well, and I think you'll see, you know, who knows if we get any more, if we do anything else, but tomorrow's where all the action happens. Teams, it gets to 1, 2 in the afternoon. And I can tell you as players in the clubhouse, everybody's got MLB Network on. You're looking at your phones wondering, am I gone? Am I not? Am I still here? I went down to the Marlins stand. I saw Brad Ziegler. I was like, "You're still here?" He said, "I think." Haven't got called in yet.
Chen with a 3-2 pitch. And he walks. Flowers again. Well, take us through that, Jeff. I mean, in recent times, what is it like at the deadline when you get a tap on the shoulder, a phone call or a text and say, come see the manager?
Well, I remember when I went from New York to Texas for the World Series, Jerry Manuel, I mean, Omar had talked that the Rangers were involved and there was a possibility. And I remember before the game, Jerry said, we were actually here in Atlanta when I got traded. And Jerry said, you know, we're looking at doing this. You know, just be prepared. And then right after the game, bam, he gone.
Did you get to go home and repack?
I actually did. It was great because I was right here at home. Katie had like 5 friends at the game, so I drove them all home.
Good. And everybody started clapping, "Let's go Rangers."
Yeah, exactly.
No balls and a strike. So yeah, an exciting time for fans, an exciting time for the teams, but for the players who are the guys that move, not so much.
What about that first conversation you had with Ron Washington as the manager of the Rangers when you went in?
Oh, God, it's the best.
I mean, you
And
can't go word for word.
He's taking BP.
He's taking BP.
Oh, yeah.
Line toward left. Camargo hits a rope. Flowers chugging around second, on his way to third. They're going to wave it. Here he comes. Relay throw high. And now the throw to third is going to be in time. So Dietrich overshot the first cutoff man, but the ball bounced to the secondary cutoff man, and the peg to Prado in time for the third out. But Camargo was tagged out after Tyler Flowers touched the plate at the end of this third inning. So it's a 2-run frame for the Braves. They take a 4-2 lead into the fourth inning. Lead 4-2 after 3 innings here at SunTrust Park. It's time for tonight's Lowe's Whole Team Together feature. One reason why the Braves have the best record within the East, fellas, their good play against the Marlins head-to-head.
A lot of runs scored. They're really clutch. They've pitched well against them. They still have another trip down to Miami. I think that's a four-game trip down there.
That'll be August 23rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, Thursday through Sunday. So here's Justin Bour, one of the keys for the Marlins tonight. Julio got him to ground out his first time and then throw a slow hook. Julio settled in nicely. He's retired the last 7 after the first 2 Marlins reached and scored tonight.
I'd keep throwing him that. Just throw him anything different than you've always thrown him.
I was thinking that today when I was writing down some of those numbers about what they've done against Julio. Might be time to pitch backwards to them somehow.
31 of those 55 pitches came in the first inning.
So I'll tell you real quick, I get traded. We were talking about Ron Washington.
Yeah.
I get traded to Texas. They're in Kansas City. So I walk into the locker room and I talk to all the players. There's basically no coaches around. I'm like, where's Wash? It's like he's down in the cage. So I go down there expecting to talk to the manager. Well, he's in there hitting, and Clint Hurdles, who was our hitting coach, is throwing batting practice to him. And he starts talking to me as only Ron Washington could that know him. Some choice words, and next thing you know, I walk out thinking, man, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
2-2 pitch.
And he had we're going up in 10 days to Minnesota, and he was playing the old timers game up for the Twins. And he was the only guy that didn't smile that whole day in the old. All the other guys were laughing. Wash went 3 for 3. His third time up, he blew out running to second base, pulled a hammy. But he came in and said, I got 3 hits, baby.
He is the best. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Base is empty for Bohr. We're in the 4th inning. So a 3-2 count now. Castro and Prado coming up as well for the Marlins. And that skips up there for ball 4. So Julio got ahead of Bohr but lost him. And he'll go to the stretch for the first time since the first inning. Starlin Castro with hit number 120 in the first inning. His 4th career against Julio. Driven toward right center. Enders streaking to his left. He's there and has it.
That was a well hit ball by Castro on a really good swing on a pitch that looked like it was running back in on him. Got his hands inside the baseball and got the barrel to it. Nice play by Ender to run it down.
That's where he's saying, I wish I had still played Yankee Stadium.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's a home run.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how differently this Marlins team looks after the deadline and how differently they look entering 2019. They have new ownership, as you know. Derek Jeter is in charge of their baseball operation. Gary Denbo is their big scouting director. And he has talked about how they're trying to change the organizational philosophy. They're going to draft middle infield type players, super athletic players, and like Real Muto, see if they can fit in other places. And guys that throw strikes, which makes sense in their big ballpark. But something Don Mattingly said in the just completed series with Washington struck me. He said, quote, we're trying to keep our players. We're trying to win, and we're trying to make baseball deals, not just financial deals.
Well, I think they did a great job this offseason trading away who they wanted to trade away. And I think Don Mattingly said it best when I talked to him last week is, you know, they want athletes. They want guys that want to be here and want to play. And if you don't, you're out. And he said, a lot of people were ripping Jeter, and you know, when he got down there, he said, I'll be honest, the whole staff, we all knew what the plan was. So none of us have been shocked or surprised at anything that's gone on. And he said, this has been so enjoyable to manage these guys because they want to play. He said, I know in LA we were 40 games over 500, but he said, you got to deal with this. You're wondering who's playing today. You know, he's like, these guys just love to play baseball.
That's out of play, foul, and the numbers and the results certainly show it. You mentioned, Jeff, they got off to a lousy start. Joe alluded to the fact they were trying to see who fit where defensively, offensively, trying to patch and piece this thing together. But since June 5th, the Marlins, who Derek Jeter said would be competitive this year, are more than that. They're 26-22 since June 5th.
Just makes a huge difference when you have players who want to be there, who want to show up every night and be in the lineup and not just go through the motions. And they've got a bunch of those guys.
Yeah, and you said it. Jeter said they're going to be competitive, and they are. And quite frankly, has Jeter ever given us a reason not to believe what he's done? He's done it most of the time when he says, and I can't imagine, Joe, him wanting to go down to a place like that if he's just not going to take pride in it. I just don't strike him as that type of guy.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens with their personnel and how that translates into wins, which translates into fans.
Little flare over second. That is a Martin Prado style base hit. And Miami has 2 on with 1 out for Rojas.
Jammed him. Tyler Flowers is kind of looking out there like, how in the world did he do that? See if he can get a ground ball here. So if he can throw that sinker or slider and get Rojas to roll over it. Rojas has been about as tough and out as they have in their lineup for the Braves this year, hitting .400 against them.
10 for 25 with a couple of homers. And the pitch. Swing and a miss.
There you go. Great spot.
And to put this Marlins thing in perspective and our point about how important this series is and how tough an opponent the Marlins could be, mentioned Miami's 26 and 22 since June the 5th. The Braves have 20 wins since June the 5th. But tonight Atlanta's on top 4-2. We're in the 4th inning. 2 on, 1 out. And out of play. 0-2.
You said it. We've played so well against the NL East this year. And you look at the next 11 games, and I said it. This is a chance for us to really, to me, get something going. And you give 4 games to Washington, you can go up there, win 3, and bury them to me. I think you can knock them out of the race.
Got a doubleheader with them, too.
That's what I'm saying. You take 3 or 4, see ya.
Yep.
And if you want to win the division, you're really going to have to build up some capital before the final 2 weeks, because Atlanta doesn't play the Phillies again until late September. That's the team directly in front of Atlanta in the race.
And we've played great against them this year.
7-5 in the first 12. And now Rojas requests time.
When I laugh, everybody's talking about Gabe Kapler for manager of the year and stuff. I want to say, well, what about Brian Snitker?
No doubt. Oh, 2 pitch is lifted towards shallow right center. Another terrific jump by Ender, and he made that play look routine.
That was another good pitch, too. Another one riding in on Rojas that he had to fight off. I tell people, and I firmly believe this, that while the Phillies and the Braves have been rebuilding the last couple of 3 years, the Phillies were a year ahead in this regard, that their pitchers got a lot of innings last year. Nola, Pivetta.
Eflin came on through quite a bit towards the end.
Velasquez. Those guys got a lot of innings last year, so they were a little better prepared than some of the, let's say, a year ahead of where the Braves' young pitchers were going to be. And yet here we are, a game and a half separated. But because of that, I feel Brian Snitker has done a heck of a job. He and Chuck Hernandez with the pitching staff.
Absolutely.
No balls and a strike for Sierra. Former Cardinal, made his major league debut May 7th here at SunTrust Park last year. Made his Marlins debut against the Braves July 24th of this year. Last year started the season at Class A Palm Beach. Got to the big leagues May 7th. He's only 21 years old. Came to the Marlins with Sandy Alcantara, Zach Gallen, and Daniel Castano for Marcell Ozuna. One ball, 2 strikes. Bohr at second, Prado at first. And a swing and a miss, and Julio's out of the soup in the 4th inning. Bottom of the order coming up. Atlanta 4, Marlins 2.
To the bottom of the 4th inning, and the Braves picking up another bullpen piece last night. And Brad Brock is our SunTrust confidence play. Right-handed pitcher, and the Braves didn't give up any players to get him. He has a 2.95 ERA over the last 4 seasons, and he was an all-star back in 2016. Now, we were able to speak to Brock before the game, and he was telling us how he's not having the success that he's used to this year, but he said about 2 weeks ago he saw a comment from his GM regarding the trade deadline, and he said every outing after that really felt like a tryout for him. So he said last night after the game, when he found out where he was going to spend the last 2 months, it's the most relaxed that he's felt all year. And Brian Snitker said a change of scenery is always good, and he said we can also expect to see him tonight if he gets an opportunity to get him in the game.
Thanks, Kelsey. Yeah, Brock has closing experience, and for a international compensation slot, you get a guy with 11 saves and major league experience late in the ball game. That's a coup for the Atlanta Ball Club. So we'll welcome Brad Brock to the fold if he gets in the game tonight, as the Braves go to work here in the 4th inning. Ender Inciarte, Dansby Swanson, Julio Teheran. 2 of the Braves' 4 RBIs have come from this spot on the lineup card. Ender with a sacrifice fly, Julio with a run-scoring single in the 2nd.
You won't surprise me to see him get in that game tonight. Isn't it a lot like Bobby? When a new guy comes over, he'd love to get him in there right away, get their feet wet.
To the shortstop, and they throw to first in time. Ender's retired, 1 out.
But good contact again from Ender. You're right, Jeff. He would do that with you young players too. You didn't have to sit around very long waiting for an at bat.
No, and it was nice because that's. I remember you have a bad game, even as a bench guy, a lot of times. Sometimes they'd be in there the next day because he didn't want you to sit on that and think about it.
And to make room for Brad Brock on the roster, Sam Freeman placed on the 10-day DL with left shoulder inflammation. The other roster move, Brandon McCarthy transferred to the 60-day DL with a knee. And a strike for Dansby Swanson, 0-1. Dansby intentionally walked back in the 2nd inning. As Joe said, his 10th intentional walk. And he turned it loose there, but didn't get it.
Yeah, broke a tie with Freddie. Freddie has 9 intentional passes.
That could be a good trivia question to ask somebody. Who leads the Braves in intentional walks?
Pop fly foul. I think Dansby's more than held his own hitting 8th. Not an easy place to hit in the National League, of course, with a pitcher behind you. Adding 247 overall. But what's really stood out is how good Dansby's defense has been. One of the more highly rated defenders according to the defensive metrics.
Sometimes you wonder about those, but I'll tell you what, watching Dansby this year, he's definitely one of the best in the league right now. To me, charging the ball, making the plays.
I agree with you.
Lifted toward right, but right at Anderson. Dansby with 11 defensive runs saved. That's 3rd most among all major league shortstops, and only 2 behind Andrelton Simmons. And we all know how great a defender Andrelton was and is with the Braves, and now with the Angels.
That's a great compliment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Get mentioned in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's great. All right, Julio, you got your base hit. You drove in the run with 2 outs. Now it's time to go deep. 2 out, nobody on. Go for it. He's suckering him into it.
Yeah, I like that. Thinks he's just going to bunt. Or Julio saying, I don't like to hit with people in scoring position.
No balls and a strike. And a slow roller. Hit right to Martin. And he'll fire across in time, and that retires the Braves. Chen leads off the 5th. Braves lead 4-2.
Is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. And by SunTrust. Confidence starts here.
All 4 members of the Jeff Francoeur fan club on hand tonight here at SunTrust Park as we head to inning number 5. Good to have Frenchie back with us for game 1 of the series, and good to see you here at SunTrust Park as we zoom in live on our Xfinity cam on this warm, muggy baseball night in Atlanta. We're hoping that Mother Nature will cooperate for the final 3 games of this homestand.
Chip, Joe, do you think Chip's a little jealous?
Oh, there might be. There might be. I was just thinking about how Delaware North had to order in a truckload of French fries for this series. They were a little short.
The hand-cut fries here are phenomenal. It's the perfect amount of salt.
Yes.
They're a little bit, they're not soggy. You know, you go sometimes you get soggy fries. It's perfect.
By the way, we're in the 5th inning, which is brought to you by Audi Q5. We have a great marketing idea for Delaware North because Jeff loves the French fries so much. We decided that we should call them Frenchie fries.
Why not?
I think it's a great idea.
Like I said, though, do I get a little bit of the profits?
To be negotiated.
Yes, exactly. Chen pops it out of play, foul. And the count even A ball and a strike. There you
look
go.
at that. See? That's the kind you want. They're not soggy, but they're nice and crisp. They got some salt and pepper on it. They're not plain. So you don't have to have ketchup.
They try it with a little Old Bay on it.
Ooh.
Ooh, nice. Swing and a miss. After a very shaky and long first inning for Julio, he's really pitched more aggressively, getting ahead in counts. He has struck out 3 men. He's only had 2 base runners since the first inning. And Chen's going to be the first out on an easy play to second. 1 man down.
All right, we're talking about intentional passes, and Dansby leading the team right now. Who has the most intentional passes by a Braves hitter since they moved to Atlanta in one season?
If I had to guess, I'd say Hank or Murph. Especially since Murph played on some horrible teams.
Good call. Chip?
I'm trying to think who would be batting down in the order.
Are you going that way?
Yeah. Let me think about that a second. Derek Dietrich bats and takes outside, ball 1.
Well, the most is 29.
29 in a single season. I'm going to go wild card. I'll say Marcus Giles, but I know that's not right.
No, it's not, I don't think.
Well, Jeff's all over it.
Wow.
Murph.
Dale Murphy, and the next highest is a tie with 23 between Hank Aaron and Chipper Jones. Murph in 87.
Sorry about that, Chip.
Dude, you got a big brain. Don't be afraid to show it off. Two balls, no strikes. Chipper Jones walked intentionally 23 times in a year.
Yes, he walked 20 times. That was 2002. And the year before that, he walked 20 times.
So Andrew was hitting behind him, I guess, then, right?
I don't think about it. He had Andrew, Fred McGriff.
Andrew,
He was never going to do it a lot compared to some people.
Well, but I'm saying that there were that many. How many times did Andrew or McGriff hit with Chipper Jones aboard, a chance to do serious damage?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you pick your poison at that point. It's just like as good as Nick is having this year. Most of the time, they're going to walk Freddie and make Nick beat him.
And you know, if it was a left-handed pitcher and they had a base open, or vice versa. You know, Chipper's a switch hitter.
Right.
They're going to try to go with the odds of right on right or left on left.
Dietrich takes outside. Julio thought that was strike 3 because strike 2 looked to be in the exact same spot. And he's in a catcher's crouch at the front slope of the mound in disbelief as Dietrich walks for the second time.
Goodness, that looked good. Tyler thought he had it too.
I'll say this, as a hitter, I believe that is a ball right there. But the fact of the matter is, I think what Chip said, 3-1 was the same place and he gave it to him. So I think you're thinking, well, I went right back to the same spot.
So here's the combo that got the Marlins on the board. Dietrich with a walk, Anderson with a homer to straightaway center. His 9th home run of the year. And that's up and away, ball 1.
Speaking of Hank Aaron, I think the coolest thing at the Hall of Fame, besides obviously Chipper going in, I know y'all don't get to see it, but Hank Aaron got a standing O from 54,000 fans and every single Hall of Famer on stage when he came out.
Right.
Two balls, no strikes. Well, next year's class apparently will be headlined by Mariano Rivera, who figures to be a shoe-in to reach Cooperstown on the first ballot.
Maybe Murph gets in, the Veterans Committee.
Wouldn't that be great?
Long overdue. Two balls, no strikes. And this one lifted in the air to shallow right. And plenty of room for Nick Markakis. Our pal Jim Powell over on the radio side has a great line that he uses with regards to Dale Murphy and his Hall of Fame candidacy, and he won't mind if I share it or steal it from him. But in this era where we're talking so much about character being important in the Hall of Fame and the so-called steroid era, the PED era, whatever you want to call it, if that is going to be used as a basis to exclude players, shouldn't someone with the exemplary character of Dale Murphy and the terrific numbers he had help his candidacy as much as it the other way hinders guys from getting in?
I would say yes. If he's been perceived to be a borderline guy, then by all means, yes. He's not borderline to us.
No.
Well, my thing is, I take out the fact that he's a phenomenal guy. I think in the era he played in, he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
You know, I don't care if he never talked to anybody. But then you throw that in at the end, like I said, you think some people might put him over the top. But then again, you know, what, 7 people didn't vote King Griffey Jr. in? Right. First ballot. So in the nicest way possible, there's some people that aren't smart.
Do you think we'll ever see a unanimous Hall of Famer?
No, because there'll always be someone that holds something against somebody, which is sad.
My bet is Derek Jeter. If I had to choose one player coming up, and I'm with you. I think that
I bet you someone doesn't vote him in.
Or they'll forget to turn their ballot in, or they won't turn their ballot in, etc.
Yeah. Can I throw one more intentional walk?
Yeah, yeah.
Thought at you? Since the Braves, in that time, since the Braves moved to Atlanta, talked about Murph with 29. Barry Bonds in 2004. Wait for it. Had 120 intentional walks.
120 intentional walks.
That was in 2004.
Wow.
Well, if they were going to put the speed up rule, they should have done it then.
Really?
They waited a little bit too long.
Uh-huh.
That's amazing.
2-1 pitch. I mean, how many times do Barry Bonds come up in a game and forget the allegations and the PEDs and all that stuff?
Still got 1 pitch to hit each night.
1 pitch to hit, and more often than not, he hit it. Just unbelievable.
I thought the greatest was, I don't know if y'all remember, I don't know who they were playing, but they were down 2 or 3 with bases loaded and 2 outs, and he got intentionally walked.
Yeah, I think it was Arizona.
Yeah, Buck Showalter.
And Buck, that's exactly who it was. And it worked out. I think they won the game.
The 2-2 pitch. Lifted toward right center. Real Muto puts a charge into this baby. Ender as far as he can go. It's high off the brick wall. Backed up beautifully by Markakis. And there'll be no throw to the plate as Real Muto hits one a mile to right center. He doubles. That scores Dietrich, and we've got a 1-run game. That is a strong young man.
Yeah. Tell you what, though, as an outfielder, Joe, this was the perfect way to play a ball off the outfield. Ender goes and gets it, gives it a great try right here, and you see Nick right behind him.
That's what makes him a great trio out there right
Absolutely.
now.
They know what each other's going to do.
Nick going to a spot where he could play it off the wall and played it perfectly. But the walk, Dietrich walks, scores on a homer in the first, walks and scores on a double in the 5th.
Braves walk Bohr, and that'll bring up Castro. So 4 walks for Julio. And Castro 1 for 2 on the night. Digs in with 2 on and 2 out. And the Braves bullpen scrambles into action. As Julio about to make his 93rd pitch. He's got to get through this inning with the lead to have a chance to win his 8th game.
Well, you know he's really irritated because he didn't feel like he walked Dietrich to begin with.
Yeah. And then he got behind Anderson 2-0 and got a huge fly out from him. So I'm sure he had to feel like, okay, I'm getting out of this inning.
Shane Carl, the first up in the Braves pen.
And Tyler's going to buy some time as Shane just got up. Phillies in Boston still tied at Fenway 1-1. That game is in the 8th inning. St. Louis is hosting Colorado tonight. Boy, the Rockies have heated up. But Black's ball club is rolling. And they're trying to catch the Dodgers out west. Colorado has won 19 of their last 24, and they just set a franchise record. You know what their home ERA was in July?
No.
171.
No kidding.
A team record by more than a run. And that's helped catapult them to within a game of the Dodgers out west. LA hosts Milwaukee later tonight, and there's a strike.
How about Matt Holliday making a little comeback, Jeff? Rocky signed him, sent him to a minor league team to get in shape.
I love Matt, but I don't know what he's doing.
I was going to ask you if you thought you could do that, you know, after sitting out as he has this year.
I think the tough thing is you look at that deal like Matt, if he comes back, it's going to be in a pinch hit role. He's not going to be playing.
Right.
And I guess that's where I'm like, how can you sit this long out and then come back in that kind of role and expect to get going? I don't, maybe he missed it that much. I don't know. I would have thought he'd been playing golf up in the mountains in Colorado somewhere.
You'd think.
2 balls, 2 strikes, the count for Castro. There's a huge pitch in the game for Julio right here. He'd love to end this 5th inning threat. He leads 4-3. And here it is. Trying to get Castro to chase. He didn't, and now it's a full count.
That was a great pitch by Julio there, and I think he couldn't believe Castro didn't swing at that,
I can't
Joe.
believe he didn't either.
Yeah.
Great pitcher's pitch, and he laid off.
I guess why Holiday thing surprised me real quick is because it was after the All-Star break. That's why I think it was so weird. Like, if that's April, even May, you're kind of like, okay. But to happen in late July?
Runners lead. They'll be going with 2 outs. The payoff pitch. Struck him out, a laser over the outside corner, and Castro was looking for something else. Julio picks up a big strikeout. He preserves the lead. Braves are up in the home 5th.
About, you see him here talking to them, but the intensity he have. Look at this. This is, I haven't seen this from him in a while. Boy, he pumped it. He yelled. He knew he had that strikeout right there, and that's good to see. I want to see that from him. I want to see that emotion because that, you know, we're going to need Julio the next 2 months down the stretch, big time.
Yeah, he has more experience than anybody on the ball club, you know, in the rotation, and that intensity is really good to see.
Well, and especially when you go 30 pitches in the first inning, give up 2 runs, you don't know how your night's going to be, but for him to grind back like that, it's a great job by Julio. Sometimes you say, a guy only went 5 innings and you're not happy about it. This is one of those where you kind of shake his hand and say, way to grind it out.
Want to stick it in, stick around, and get after it.
So let's see if Atlanta's offense can extend the lead. It's a 4-3 score. Acuna's popped out to right twice, so he's 0 for 2 in the game. A 1 for 16 homestand for him. This ball, though, is belted straight away center. Sierra back at the wall. He's not going to get it. Right over the 400 sign. A homer for Acuna.
Perfect timing, Chip. 1 for 16. Now he's 2 for 17. He needed that.
Both of his hits on the homestand are homers, and that one gets a run back.
Tell you what, he hits the ball a long way to left field from gap to gap. He can certainly hit it out of any ballpark.
But I think we talked about how good of a start he got off to, Joe. That's what I want to see. I want to see him use that field. He can get pull happy, and I think that's what hurts him. He's so strong. You see right there. I mean, he didn't crush that ball. You know, it was hit well, don't get me wrong, but it was kind of a high home run for him, and you see how much power he has.
And that's 10 home runs for Acuna now, as Chen has given up his 13th on the year. 10 home runs for Acuna, fellas, in 202 at-bats. Do the math. Get this kid 600 at-bats. You're looking at a 30 home run year. So 2 solo homers for Atlanta tonight at SunTrust Park, which has actually been a harder place to hit home runs than Marlins Park, as this one's lined to third.
Which blows my mind away.
Isn't that amazing?
I don't know how.
Well, a lot of it has to do with how good the Braves pitching has been. They're holding the other guys down for the most part. But Miami hasn't held down Freddie Freeman. His earlier homer, our StatCast AI powered by AWS.
You know, everybody tries to keep the ball away from Freddie and make him go the other way or then pitch him up and in. He just hit a ball right at 400 feet when they made a mistake to go down and in, which he will do that to it every time.
That's his sweet spot right there. Drop the head.
So 9 of Freddie's 18 homers have been against left-handed pitchers this year. That's an astounding stat.
I think that's the biggest thing we have going for us in the 3-4 hole, is that majority of pitchers we see are right-handed, so that's great for Freddie and Nick. But when you do see a left-handed, you don't have to split them up. You don't have to do anything. You just throw them back out there.
You could hypnotize both those guys and they'd know when they were up. They'd just casually walk up there. It's my turn.
2 balls and a strike. Shift on for Freddie. And that's way high. Ball 3.
I know I talked to Freddie for a minute today. And I talked to him about a point that I made, and he could not agree more with what I said when I said, you know, him and Chip are real good friends. He said I couldn't even watch it yesterday. You know, I had to tape it, and I said I wish baseball would do something where whether you push the games back to 4, whether you say, hey, you know what, Sunday a Hall of Fame, no baseball.
I think
everybody watch, see the guys that deserve it.
Real good point.
That stinks for those guys. You know, Freddie, Chip's one of his great friends. He's out here playing.
Swing and a miss. Freeman's down on strikes.
Nice comeback by Chen there.
So 2 outs, and that is Chen's first strikeout of the game. And he'll face Nick Markakis. Nick's had a terrific homestand. He's our Synovus Greatness Made Here feature.
Reached in all 16 games over the last 16. His average still top the league. He's hitting .320 coming in. 0 for 2 tonight.
And that's taken low. Ball 1. Nick's grounded out and popped out. Braves trying to put together back-to-back wins. They beat the Dodgers yesterday 4-1 on Sean Newcomb's masterpiece. Nick had a hand in it with a 3-hit game, including a 2-run homer that made it 4-0 off Ross Stripling. With the Braves win, the Phillies loss, and the Nationals loss, Atlanta gained ground on both the teams closest to them in the Eastern race. And they're trying to do the same tonight against the Marlins, leading 5-3 in Game 1.
Well, I thought Nick's home run was so big. Obviously, I was just following it on my phone, but when you're facing a team like the Dodgers, who's been hitting so well, can hit home runs, when all of a sudden you give a 4-0 lead, and the way Nuke was pitching, you felt really good about the outcome of that game.
Lifted to the left side. Dietrich on the run, near the line, on the warning track, and he makes a nice running catch. And that'll retire the side. Ronald Acuna leads off the 5th with a laser to straightaway center. A splashdown homer for the Braves rookie outfielder, his 10th of the year. 2-run lead again for the Braves. 5-3 is your score. Innings, 5-3 is your score. Julio Teheran departs after 5 innings, a 4-hit, 3-run ball. And he'll give way to Shane Carl, who has the bottom portion of the order coming up for the Fish.
How about this on our Zaxby's indescribably good play? The Braves bullpen against the Fish this year, a 1.99 ERA and a sub-200 average. Outstanding work. So if that holds true after getting the lead, and now it's a 2-run lead, this is looking pretty good.
Yeah, I like that.
So get the leadoff man, Prado. Martin 0-1 for 2 night so far. And he's rounding into shape. Prado hitting over 320 his last 17 games for the Marlins. And had him backing away from that pitch. Prado's got another year left on his deal. Marlins got him with David Phelps for Nate Eovaldi, Garrett Jones, and Domingo Germán after the 2014 season. By the way, did you guys see what Eovaldi did in his debut for the Red Sox?
I think I did. And I think he's one of the hidden gems that was picked up here before the trading deadline.
7 innings of shutout ball for Boston.
He was really dealing for Tampa.
Sharply hit and through a leadoff single.
I'll tell you what, I remember talking to Brian McCann all those times when he caught him up in New York, and he said, I have no idea how this guy is not winning 15 games a year and striking out 200 guys. He said he's got the most live arm. And I don't know, maybe he's finally figured it out. You know, sometimes it takes people a long time, but
he got through some injuries.
Right.
He's come out the good side on that. But I was following him his last 2 or 3 starts before he was traded, and he was striking out double digits, not walking anybody.
We used to watch Yankees games, you know, and he's sitting at 99, and you look in the 4th inning, he's out of the game and giving up 6 runs, and you're like, how?
Yeah.
Rojas, the hitter, he's flied out twice. And the first from Shane is at the knees, a strike. Well, he'll fit right in with the Red Sox. Even though David Price gave up 1 run so far tonight, the Red Sox starters have given up 0 earned runs in 8 of their last 12 outings.
No kidding.
So Mr. Cora's club, not surprisingly, 41 games over 500. Ground ball might be 2. Broken bat. There's 1. The turn of beauty. That'll take care of the leadoff hit and around the horn double play.
What a great pitch right there by Shane. Just ran it in and jammed him.
And Jeff, you can speak to this as a right-handed hitter. You get jammed on a swing like that, it feels like it takes you a day and a half to get out of the box.
Well, that's the thing. Rojas is not a slow runner by any means, but it almost like backs you up, and you just feel, like you said, you feel like you're running with bricks on your feet.
Sierra has flied out and struck out. And Uris Sierra, who showed bunt. Who knows what kind of player this young man will turn out to be? He is 21. I would guess if he could be a Juan Pierre-like guy for them, they'd be absolutely thrilled.
I think he's got the frame, though, to be a little stronger, get bigger.
I was going to say that, Joe. I think he's going to put some weight on. You'll see him a little get stronger. And
oh, he's out.
Yep, he bunted the ball. The ball hit him while he was out of the box, and he's called out.
Good also by Phil Cuzzy.
Yep.
So a good try by Sierra. Lousy result for Miami, and they fail to score in the 6th inning. There's the bunt and called out of the box. Don Mattingly's going to make a pitching change as the Braves come up in the 6th. Join us on Friday the 10th. The first 20,000 fans here get a Chipper Jones Hall of Fame replica plaque presented by SunTrust. And on August 18th, that's Saturday, if you're one of the first 20,000 here at SunTrust, you get your own Chipper Crazy Train bobblehead presented by Napa. That'll be a great giveaway. Hope you'll join us. August is Hall of Famer Chipper Jones month here at SunTrust.
I got to ask you, what do you two want? Would you rather have the plaque or the bobblehead playing Crazy Train?
Oh, yeah, that's a tough choice, but I'll take the Crazy Train.
Yeah, I think so. How about you?
Crazy Train.
Crazy
I
Train.
just can't wait to see what time everybody starts lining up, and I can't wait to see when there's 2 people going for that last one.
Oh, yeah.
We might have a fight.
Yeah, there'll be a dog pile.
I want to see it.
Tyler Flowers leads off. Hernandez, the pitcher for the Marlins. They make a double switch. Cameron Maben, the former Brave, is in center, and he'll be placed in the number 9 spot on the Marlins lineup card. 5 runs, 3 walks, a couple of homers for Chen, who again continues to struggle away from Marlins Park.
Speaking of walks, Tyler Flowers, his last 16 at bats coming in, he walked 6 times. He was 4 for 16 plus 6 walks, and he's walked twice tonight already. That's bumping up the old on base percentage.
Well, those 2 walks came around to score against Chen. They were earned by Tyler. He's ahead the count here. And now, again, 3 balls and a strike.
You know, Joe, I still wonder what Tyler, I know he's only got 4 home runs this year, and the power, you got to believe what happened to him early on this season has been affecting his power.
Yeah. A little residual effect.
Yeah.
I mean, what a crummy way to start your year. Your first at bat of the season on opening day, coming off a great year last year, and you pop an oblique. And Tyler wanted to stay in the game, but we had a great camera shot where you could actually see him say, "I heard it pop."
Yeah, that happens. There's nothing you can do. You're out.
Line into left field. There's some pop in a positive way for Tyler. A leadoff single greets Hernandez in the 6th.
That was short and snappy right there. That swing.
That's 3 great at bats tonight. He's taking his 2 walks and then got the 3-2 and made him pay.
How quick this is to the ball. Head right on it. Just head. Boom.
Johan Camargo, the batter. He's got a skip carry night at the plate. 2 doubles. And pop fly out of play.
2 doubles and thrown out on the 3rd.
Yeah, pretty good chance. 5-3, the Braves have the lead. Enders next.
There's some doubles being thrown around in Cooperstown.
Oh, I'll bet.
I don't believe that.
As great as the ceremonies were, and Jeff, you were talking about this before the game. You played in the major leagues. I didn't. I still love a great baseball yarn, but for you to sit around the bonfire and hear those Hall of Famers tell their stories, that had to be the thrill of a lifetime.
It was unbelievable. Best 4 hours. Listen to Carlton Fisk, Frank Thomas, all those guys, Wade Boggs. That was great. We got to see some old Braves. Mark Kotze was there.
That's nice.
Well, it was one of the best Hall of Fame ceremonies in recent memory. A great class. As this one's on a play foul.
I know you didn't face Jack Morris, Jeff. And like Nick Green was saying over the weekend, he played against 4 of the guys, but not 2. He didn't play or see Trammell or Jack Morris. Jack Morris was a bad dude.
Oh, I know. I mean, I know I was only 7, but I could tell you almost every play of that Twins game in '91. As I said, I want to fight Kent Herbeck every time I see him.
You're not the only one.
Yeah.
Popped up left side. There's the first out. Hope you'll stick around for the middle of the 7th inning. It's the stretch presented by Synovus, the bank of here. Braves lead 5-3. And Enders coming up. He's hit the ball hard a couple of times. He's 0 for 1 with a sacrifice fly.
And last thing about that, I thought one of the great things about Chipper's speech was talking about Andrew Jones and giving him a nice plug, because I think people forget how good Andrew was for that stretch of time. When you're talking 10 Gold Gloves, best center fielder of our time.
He was the best outfielder.
And it's not like you talk about Omar Vizquel winning 13 Gold Gloves. Well, he didn't hit like Andrew. Andrew had
slow roller towards second. One play. It's to first. And Flowers at second for Dansby. Let's see if they pitch to him or
add to his team leading.
Yeah. Well, the Braves want him to be pitched to. They've got Ryan Flaherty in the on deck circle.
No, Andrew put up great offensive numbers too.
That's my point. He's got over 400 home runs. People forget, and I think sometimes how fast the end came for him going to Japan, but anybody that played against him or with him, I mean, you hear the stories up there and the people talking about him. Hopefully one day he'll be up there.
That would be great.
And I flew up there with him. I'll tell you what, though, he's the worst driver. You talk, he took some ways to get to Cooperstown that it was like straight out of Deliverance.
Really?
I didn't know where we were going. I didn't trust Andrew either.
No.
Guy from Curacao driving in Cooperstown, New York.
Was it because he was directionally challenged, or
I'm not sure what
following the speed limit?
That whole area up there, you could wind up.
Well, that's the thing.
Syracuse.
I think he was trying to take a couple different back roads. The next thing you know, we're on gravel roads, you know, and it's kind of like There's got to be a better way to get there than this.
1 ball, no strikes.
But he got us there.
I watched most of Andrew's career in an opposing broadcast booth. The thing that always struck me about him is how easy he made the game look, especially defensively. I mean, it looked so cavalier and so casual, and it looked like he wasn't playing hard, but he was. That's how good he was.
Yeah, and you talk about, you know, I played with him. He played so shallow. You remember balls hit, and you're like, there's no way he's going to get to him. And next thing you know, bam, he's camped.
Yep.
It's unbelievable.
2 balls, no strikes.
He's one of those guys that had an uncanny feel for where he was relative to the wall. He knew exactly how many steps he had left. I don't ever recall him, you know, crashing into a wall. Maybe catching and bumping into it, or climbing it. But I don't recall a time where, you know, he hit it so hard that he went to the ground. I don't know that I ever saw that.
3 balls and a strike for Dansby. Flaherty waits on deck.
Good arm too.
Strike called. Swanson flipped the bat away. He thought that was well off the plate.
It was.
What else you want to say? It was.
Wow.
Real mute to how far he had to bring the glove back to make it look like a strike.
Yeah, that's not Phil Cubs' best work.
So a full count pitch coming for the Brave shortstop. Here it is. And he's down on strikes. That's got to be a frustrating at bat. Instead of ball forward, strike 3. And we're off to the 7th inning. Between innings for a quick visit. Brought us a couple of gifts. Check it out.
I've got my gift on.
Frenchie's saying, what's the deal? I got nothing. There's some cards, some stickers.
My card says you're my second favorite Simpson.
There you go.
And then the big, there you go.
Yep. I'm not sure what that was.
And then I think in just a second we're going to see some silly string come flying in here.
Yeah, that was.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah,
Yep, perfect.
That was a little uncalled for.
I kind of like it actually. As Cameron Maben leads off and takes ball 1.
Here's second favorite Simpson from Blue Brick. We all got bumper stickers too.
No, I got bumper stickers and I threw them.
Oh, you didn't want them.
I didn't get anything.
Well, I
don't want a bumper sticker.
Here's the shirt. It's an extra medium. It'll fit you perfectly.
It's medium?
Yes.
Extra medium.
See, look at that. Looks good.
I tell you what, yeah, I'm proud of you, Flooper, because you did a great job today at Scottish Rite Hospital, and what you did for the kids over there today and the smiles you put on faces. It was a great event. Christmas in July at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta.
Yeah, for us, we talk about every day in a baseball field or in a baseball broadcast booth is a great day, but going to see those kids was good for the soul. And the beaming smiles that all of those kids had when the players walked into their rooms to give them a foam tomahawk. As this one's lined toward left center, Ender's going to play that on a hop, and Maben's got a base hit, thinking about 2. Throw to second will be late, and Cameron Maben off the bench with his first at bat, doubles to start the 7th inning. But yeah, it was a great day today.
Yeah, you talk about going with blueprint. My favorite thing I ever did with the Braves every year was Christmas in July at the hospital.
We met some great kids today with our crew. We'll talk about that some more after the pitching change.
To the plate here in the top of the 7th inning. In between the top and bottom half, we'll have the stretch for you. It's presented by Synovus, the bank of here. Jesse Biddle will come on. Dietrich Anderson and Real Muto, the scheduled hitters for Miami.
Good work by Jesse. His last two outings, overall, he's been outstanding. One outing at Miami, 1 inning, 1 hit, no runs or walks. One outing against the Dodgers, an inning with a hit, no runs, a couple of walks, no strikeouts.
Well, let's see if the Braves can make Dietrich put the ball in play. They've walked him twice and he scored twice as a result. Dietrich is a strikeout candidate, a .234 hitter against lefties. The interesting thing here for Atlanta is that Jesse Biddle has very odd reverse splits. Left-handed batters are hitting .291 against him. Right-handed hitters just .145.
And all the homers he's allowed have been to left-handed hitters.
But I'll say those splits have definitely been starting to close the gap a little bit. There was a time where I think lefties were hitting like 4-something off him, Joe.
To straightaway center. Pretty well struck, but shy of the track. Ender with the catch. Maben's going to tag. Here comes the throw. It's on target. It's close, but late. And a productive out for Dietrich, who gets Maben to third base with 1 out.
This was solid, terrific, fundamental outfield play here by Ender. He went about 6, 8, 9 strides beyond where he was going to catch the ball, and then lined up and came to the baseball to have his momentum going to third base and made a very accurate throw.
Well, I tell people all the time, as good as he is defensively in the outfield, he's got a top 3 arm for center field.
Well, it's a good thing it was Maben running. If it was anybody with average speed,
oh, he gone.
He'd have got him.
So here's Anderson, a 2-run homer. Back in the opening inning. And Biddle gets ahead with a strike.
As much as you want to get out of here with no runs, at the same time, you're trading out for a run right here, especially with Real Muto coming up on deck.
You bet.
Right back to the mound. Maben wandered too far off the bag. Now they've got him in a rundown. And finally, Maben's going to be tagged out.
Or we'll take that, Joe.
Comebacker. It's hard on a base runner every time.
Especially when it's hit hard like that too. I mean, it was hitting the ground, but it was hit good.
Don Mattingly patted him on the back as he came in the dugout. Maben, I'm talking about, just for staying in there long enough to get Anderson over to second base.
The putout is scored 1-5-2-6.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to have to chase Cameron down.
No, he did a great job.
So 2 are out. Real Muto, the batter, he doubled in the 5th inning. JT Realmuto has 9 hits in 20 career at bats in this ballpark with 6 RBIs, including the 3rd run knocked in for Miami tonight.
You know, we were talking about ballparks and the home runs that have been given up in different parks. That ball he hit off the wall out by the Braves bullpen might have been a home run in Miami.
It's about the only place that might be shorter.
Well, Biddle's gotten ahead quickly, 0-2.
Marlins 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position this game.
Red Sox and Boston. Red Sox in Boston. 1-1 10th inning as they host the Phillies.
Well, I know both of Price and Nola, I think, went at least 8 last I checked. Good old-fashioned pitching matchup there.
Yeah.
And both with
two good hitting teams.
No decisions. One more strike will send us to the stretch here. The Braves lead it 5-3.
I don't think there's any way the Yankees catch Boston.
It'll be hard.
Yeah.
Little tapper. Ozzie charges and throws to first in time, and Biddle puts out the fire. Good work again by Jesse out of the Atlanta bullpen. 5-3 Atlanta as we stretch.
Welcome to The Stretch, presented by Synovus, the bank of here.
Welcome to The Stretch, brought to you by Synovus. Jerome and Brian out here on the Fox Sports set in the heart of the Battery right outside of SunTrust Park, BJ. And boy, if there was a time for the Braves to really get back going and make up some ground, it is right now. You got the Marlins in town, then you have the Mets after that, and then following Washington, who they have played very, very well against this year. Began the day a game and a half out in both the East and in the wild card. Got to make ground.
Well, you know what? I think this is their time, and the Braves play very well in the East, so they look forward to the challenge of going up to New York and then Washington. They love facing those guys because they seem to do well. They just get up for those games, Jerome. So, you know, it's the teams outside of the division that I worry about, like the Dodgers this weekend. So I like our chances going out and playing Eastern teams.
One thing that you notice on that graphic right there is how well they have pitched against those teams. Do you expect that to continue over the next 9 or 3 series, 9 to 10 games?
No question about it. And I think the Braves play well on the road in these Eastern division up in Washington and New York. They love going to those places and performing well. They're up for the challenge, and this is the time for the Braves to really make a run and get back into going to #1 over the Phillies.
All right. Well, before we get you up to the booth to see if they got all that silly string out of their hair, quick word from Synovus.
Visit Synovus for your banking, lending, and investing needs. Proudly serving you across the Southeast. Synovus, the bank of here.
Well, good news. Our magnificent TV hair is all straightened out as we get set for the bottom of the 7th. 5-3. It's your
Yeah,
score.
mine's down my back. That's the problem right now.
Oh, really?
That's itching.
Nice.
Can you get it for me?
No. Ryan Flaherty's going to lead off for Atlanta by my book. Last time Ryan had it at bat was a week ago. Also against the Marlins in Miami, he pinch hit. And that's what he'll do here for Jesse Biddle, who works a scoreless 7th inning. So it'll be Flaherty, Acuna, and Albies. A little more insurance wouldn't hurt for the Braves, who have 5 runs on 6 hits. Atlanta stranded 3. 3 runs, 6 hits for the Marlins. They've left 6.
But what Jesse did was huge here, keeping it a 2-run game.
Couple of ground balls.
Yep.
And the first pitch swing, bouncing ball to Bohr. And the flip to first in plenty of time.
If I can revisit real quick the visit today, Christmas in July at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. I met a little young man named Matthew who just grabbed me by the heartstrings and wouldn't let go. He's eating a cookie that he had made for himself in the zone, they call it. And I asked if I could have a bite, and he said, nope. So I said, all right. I tried to talk him into it, and I went over to talk to one of the other little kids, and one of the aides came back to get me. She said, you need to come with me. And Matthew had made a cookie for me so that I could sit with him and eat. And it was a crusher. I tell you what.
Nice.
Great cookie.
Wow.
Great kid.
Line drive to right by Acuna, and Anderson will get there with a waist-high grab. 2 outs.
I'll tell you how we've done that so many times, and every time, even new players that come to Atlanta, they come walking out of there say, man, that did more for me than it did for the kids.
Honestly.
Well, Joe, you were telling me at the hospital that special wing that we had the Christmas in July with Santa Claus and the presents and stuff was donated by 2 very prominent people.
Yeah, they have, I was told there are 11, they're called the Zone. There's all kinds of crafts and things to do in the zone for the kids. And this one in Atlanta, donated by Garth Brooks and Troy Aikman.
Wow.
It's an amazing place. And we go to the 8th inning. Game 1 against the Marlins. We'd like to invite you to College Nights. They're a big feature at SunTrust Park, and August features a great slate of schools. Next up, Mississippi State, the Harvard of the South, the University of Georgia, Vanderbilt, and Ole Miss. Head to Braves.com/College Nights and get your game ticket and co-branded hat.
New guy, New guy alert. Brad Brock comes on after joining the Braves today on a trade from Baltimore for international slot money. 1-2, 4.85 ERA. Tops out at about 96 with a good changeup.
This guy was an all-star just 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And he's got great stuff. Like I said, hopefully he comes over here and he's funky, you can tell.
Yeah. Nice breaking ball to start.
Ken Brock acquired last night. Sam Freeman to the disabled list to make room for him. And a little roller is foul, 0-2.
Hey, if he gets Justin Bohr out, keep him.
Well, he's secured his spot, hasn't he?
He's good with me.
Yeah, that was one of your keys tonight. Control Bohr. Well, they have to a certain degree. Bohr's put the ball in play once, but has walked twice.
Yeah, but it's one of those things. For him, I'll take a walk. No, I love Justin Bohr, but he's going to clog up the base pass.
Well, he's walked 67 times now. And he's going to ground out to first again, roll right over the top. And Brock's first batter faces retired as a Brave, 1 out.
This is a perfect spot for him to come in right here in the 8th inning. Get the setup, get your feet wet, feel good coming in today.
I just like the fact that the Braves are bringing in some fresh faces to that bullpen. Johnny Vetters, Brad Brock, guys that have been around before. Nothing better than experience in your bullpen this time of the year. As the games get more and more magnified and the pennant race gets closer and closer and closer. Castro 1 for 3. The Miami second baseman had a first inning hit. Brock just missed. It was close. It was good enough.
Joe, doesn't it look like Phil Kuzzi's about to call strike sometimes and he just stands up?
When he raises up?
Yeah, I thought he was about to call it there and then he just.
Right back where it came from, and a diving try by Ozzie. Can't make the play. So a 2-hit game for Castro. And Martin Prado with a 2-hit night will be the next Miami hitter.
He had an advantage over everybody else. He's been in the American League. Castro has.
Faced him
Playing for
quite
the
a bit.
Yankees, and he's probably seen him a lot. He was 2 for 9, now 3 for 10. With a double and a homer off of him.
We know Castro too, 2-0 like that. There's one thing he can do, Joe. He can hit a fastball.
He sure can.
That's downstairs. 1 ball, no strikes.
Hard sinker. 2 95s right in a row.
Martin Prado's 0 for 3 against Brock in his career with a strikeout. Castro now 3 for 10. He's the man at first base. And Martin was backing out of the way of that pitch.
I love this. It gives you a different look.
Well, that's his pitch right there. I faced him a couple times, Joe, and where you can see where he throws across his body. You see Martin. It's that front door little slider. If he throws that consistently like that, he's tough to hit. Even on that pitch, did you see Martin's front foot pull out a little bit? It's uncomfortable.
Three balls, 1 strike. That was nasty. Full count.
And there's something else to this for me, and that is when a guy changes leagues, he's got a definite advantage over most of the hitters that haven't seen him, but maybe just an at bat or two.
Yeah, especially when you spent your whole career in the American League.
Bouncing ball slowly hit. Camargo bobbles and then can't throw to first. That hurts. 2 on, 1 out. A rare error for Camargo, only his 6th of the season.
Got in a hurry. It was an in-between hop too. It was a tough one to kind of smother. He got in a hurry and couldn't corral it out of his glove. Tough break for Brock.
That's one there for Camargo. He's probably going to wish it. Just get one right there. It's a slow chopper. Chances you turn in 2 aren't great.
And now Rojas, the hitter. He's hit a couple of homers against the Braves this year. 7 home runs for this man this year. He had 4 for his career entering this season. But he too has hit into a double play tonight. Ground ball might be number 2. And a strike. Rojas leads their club in double plays with 18 this year.
18?
18. Including 1 last time up.
So was that 19?
No, total of 18.
So it's 17 going.
Yep, 17 coming in.
The one before that was 16.
Is that what it was?
Uh-huh.
It's gone to Oklahoma.
Understand Parkview's got a big night coming up tomorrow night.
We do. National champs, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Parkview's pretty much like a college education when you graduate from there.
Well, I was just going to say, is the math club coming out?
I was going to say, you wouldn't know
They're
it.
coming to support.
Wouldn't know it from that last comment. The pitch just fouled straight back.
Now, that'll be fun for you.
Yeah, I get to watch some BP. They're going to do a little 7, I think 23, 25, little pregame thing down there.
Are they?
Yeah.
That's nice. They should be. Where were we this year that had a stadium that in one of the concourses they had a list of all the state champ baseball and softball teams from whatever
Really?
town. Yeah, from all the classes, and had a helmet from their team posted to represent their team.
The Mercedes-Benz Dome here has that for all the football. They have a football helmet of every school in the state of Georgia.
That's cool.
Ground ball toward first. Freddie fires to second low. The Braves get that, and Dansby spins out of the way of Prado, who came in hard at the second base bag. And that's the second out of the inning. Miami has first and third with 2 outs.
Nice save here by Dansby. Speaking of just getting one. Somehow the throw missed Prado and Dansby able to hang on.
So JT Riddle's going to come on and hit for the pitcher. Hernandez is out after 2 scoreless innings. And Riddle will bat in the 8th place spot for Miami. Again, the Marlins have left 6 on base. They're 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position so far. Riddle, a .225 hitter. And 0 for 4 as a pinch hitter. Riddle out of the University of Kentucky. Shoulder problems have cost him a lot of time.
Just thought of that stadium. It was San Diego, Petco Park.
Really?
For all the southern region baseball and softball teams. That was a nice touch.
Riddle's another Marlin who made his major league debut against the Braves. It came last April 11th. And he's going to ground up the middle. Ozzie will make a long throw, and Freddie stretches out, and that retires the side. Brad Brock, welcome to Atlanta. A scoreless 8th inning.
As we head to the bottom of the 8th, last week Daniel Ponce de Leon almost threw a no-hitter in his major league debut for the Cardinals. Our exclusive game break takes us to St. Louis, where Nolan Arenado of the Rockies made sure it was not special for him tonight. A grand slam in the 5th. Colorado is up 4-1 there in the 6th. By the way, fellas, Brad Rock is from the same hometown as Bruce Springsteen. Bruce, as we know, born to run. Brad apparently born to pitch. Back to you guys.
Oh, good one, Jerome. Good one.
You know, that Ponce de Leon guy, an amazing story. He was hit in the head with a line drive in the minor leagues last year and had to undergo emergency brain surgery, and has made his way back very quickly to the St. Louis rotation. What an amazing story Daniel Ponce de Leon is for St. Louis. This is Javi Guerra on the mound for Miami. Braves have 3, 4, and 5 coming up, trying to extend a 2-run lead. It's a 5-3 Braves game.
That was a great job by Brock last inning to come in and after the error to get out of it still and got his ground balls like he was supposed to.
Yeah. 4 of them.
Yeah. So A.J. Minter's up and throwing in the Atlanta pen. Guerra versus Freeman, who homered back in the 3rd, and he lifts this one to the left side, straight up the chute. Dietrich comes in and measures it up, 1 out.
And I think the big thing there, you know, that's a spot where Winkler's been in a lot, Joe, in that 8th inning there, and he's done a fantastic job, and I trust him in that 8th inning spot. And there's nothing wrong with our bullpen. The whole thing for me, and we've talked about, is giving us some depth in the bullpen that allow those guys to get rest, because it is a long season.
Right.
And none of these guys have pitched, first of all, into September, and much less when it actually means something.
It's true. And with a little more depth that has been added, it'll give Brian a chance and Chuck a chance to rotate those guys on an every other night basis. So
Absolutely.
Everybody's fresh. Made a good point.
I mean, you look at some of the best teams in baseball right now, the Yankees, they keep adding bullpen. The Indians, they had Andrew Miller, they went out and got Brad Hand. You can never have enough good bullpen guys.
Well, that's the way the game's played in postseason play now.
Absolutely.
Gone are the days of starting pitchers going 7, 8, 9 innings in a postseason game anymore. It's really 5, 6 innings and then wave after wave of hard throwing relievers with strikeout stuff. Ideally.
Oh, no doubt. You look at what the Yankees did. They went and got Britton. It's almost like you're thinking it's a 1-game playoff. They're going to try to get Severino for 5 innings and then run that bullpen with him and Chapman and Betances and Robertson.
Well, right now that's how they are probably going to have to play it.
No, that's what I'm saying.
The wild card team.
They're 5.5, 6 out.
Right.
They're thinking this is what we got to do. This is how we have to get in.
And that's what makes getting to the World Series so much more difficult now than it was 50+ years ago. Before divisional play started in the 60s, you won your league, you went straight to the World Series. Ground ball toward Bohr. He'll backhand and flip, and there's the 2nd out. And Tyler Flowers, the next hitter. Grammy Award-winning DJ and producer Zed will be performing here Friday, August 31st. Braves will take on the Pirates, and then a free post-game show presented by Coca-Cola. Get your tickets at Braves.com/Zed. No one will ever know how many less world championships the Yankees might have had they had to go through a wild card game and then 2 playoff rounds before you got to the World Series. That's what makes it so tough. There's so many more potential potholes in that road for big league clubs now than there ever were.
But I also like the fact that winning your division, you get rewarded for it. Where, remember, a couple of those years you really didn't. And I think it's a big deal. You want to win your division. I remember that one year, I think it was the Yankees, and it might have been the same scenario with the Red Sox or somebody else in the Yankees. I don't want to say they threw the last couple games, but they didn't win the last couple games, and they went and played Minnesota.
Right.
Whereas Boston, I think, you know, or whoever it was, played someone out west and beat them and lost, I mean.
I also love what baseball does on the final Sunday. Everybody plays at the same time.
That was a good move.
4 o'clock in the East, 1 o'clock in the West, so that the West Coast teams that are playing don't have the advantage of knowing the outcome and perhaps saving their #1 starter for a playoff game if it worked out that way.
And the Braves' last game will be in Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Unless
Sunday.
in 2015 you're playing for Philly and you have 99 losses and the Marlins have 92. Oh, why can't we just play doubleheader Saturday and go home?
Hang with them.
Yeah. I promise you, whatever happens in our game, there's going to be no outcome that means anything to anybody else.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
And strike 3 called. Garrow with an impressive 8th inning. And to the 9th we go. It'll be A.J. Minter coming on to preserve a 5-3 Atlanta game. Top of the 9th.
Visit Synovus for your banking, lending, and investing needs. Synovus, the bank of here.
Joe, Jeff, and Chip with you from Atlanta. A.J. Minter will try to close it out for the Bravos. A.J. a perfect 5 for 5 in saves. He'll have Maben, Dietrich, and Anderson coming up.
Boy, he was outstanding the other night against the Dodgers. 1 inning, struck out the side. He was unhittable.
So the Braves will toss it around the infield one last time. Minter will go to work against Maben, who doubled in his first at bat in the 7th.
Arodys Vizcaíno was among the players that went to the hospital today to visit the kids. Had a chance to ask him how he was feeling. He said much better. He's getting closer.
It's good news.
Yeah.
More depth. Yep. A.J. Minter is the first left-handed pitcher for the Braves with multiple saves in a year since Johnny Venters had 5 of them in 2011.
Huh. If you'd asked me to guess, I might have gone all the way back to Mike Stanton.
Ooh. Venters and Minter together in the Atlanta bullpen now, and A.J.'s allowed an earned run in just 2 of his last 18 outings dating back to mid-June. So he's settled into this 8th inning or 9th inning role very, very effectively for the Braves.
I got to brag on Arodys too, Joe, because he's always at different little events like that for the Braves. At the hospital, going to visit people.
He's a good man.
He is. He is awesome.
There's that cutter at 92, and Maben didn't get it. They're in the 11th inning now in Boston. Phillies 1, Red Sox 1 at Fenway Park.
A.J. was there today too. Dan Winkler, Jesse Biddle, Anibal Sanchez.
It's a great turnout.
It was. It was. And I know I'm missing someone. There's another guy or two in there. Jim and Emmy Powell. Jim Allen from the Braves front office.
The 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. Maben couldn't pull the trigger. He thought it was outside. And with a sheepish smile, heads back to the Marlins dugout. There's out number 1.
I'll tell you what, I think after the strike to Flowers to end the inning, he threw that ball before he even called it. I think he was saying, you better call that.
So the first batter faced, always a good idea to retire in a close game. Here's Dietrich. 2 walks, 2 runs, a pop out, and a fly out. One thing about Dietrich you have to keep in mind, if you pitch him inside, he is not afraid to lean into a ball and get hit. And with Anderson and Real Muto lurking in a 2-run game, that might not be an ineffective strategy for the Marlins.
Especially for the top of their order. I don't want to leave out hitting coach Kevin Seitzer and his wife Beth, who were also in attendance today. Kevin was cracking us up, and the kids.
He's great with that.
1 ball, 1 strike. Line drive into right field. So Dietrich singles, and Miami will bring the tying run to the plate. It's Anderson who's homered in 4 trips.
Looked like Dietrich got a cutter that kind of slid to the barrel of his bat. He's got that open stance, and it looked like to try to go in the front door with the cutter, maybe not by design. No, it was set up away, but it stayed out over the plate just enough.
And he didn't hit it that great. You can tell he got it off the end. It was one of those kind of just looping line drives.
So Anderson with 9 homers.
It's only the 11th hit given up by AJ to a left-handed hitter. 11 for 54, sub 200 average against him.
I know Anderson has had a good night tonight. However, he's another Marlin that's in double digits in double play balls. He's bounced into 15 twin killings. One here would end the game. No balls and a strike. Brewers have scored a run in the first inning out in Los Angeles. That's Manny Machado's home debut for LA today. Dodgers have a tough homestand. They've got 4 with the Brewers, 3 with the Astros. In a tight race out west, and a good cut fouled back by Anderson. 1-2 your count.
A little rematch of the World Series.
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
Oh, I forgot that big trade. The Astros traded Ken Giles and 2 minor leaguers to Toronto for suspended reliever Roberto Osuna. Osuna has not pitched since May 6th, is ineligible to pitch until Sunday, I believe.
Is he eligible to pitch in the postseason?
Don't know the answer to that.
Yes, he is, because it's not for PEDs.
Swing and a miss. There's the cutter. Cut him right up. Don't forget, Alumni Weekend's coming your way in mid-August, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Chipper Jones on-field ceremony. Jeff Francoeur will try to win the home run hitting contest in softball action. Photo opportunities, chance to meet your favorite Braves. One of the best weekends of the year here at SunTrust Park. We hope you'll make your plans to join us.
Are you going to make fun of me if I don't hit one?
Oh, yeah. Not a doubt. We're going to super slow-mo it. You're going to hit more than one. Here's Real Muto, dangerous hitter. Braves concede second base. Dietrich moves up 90 feet.
So that's the one thing for me, Joe, that I like that AJ did to Anderson there is he threw a lot of fastballs to get ahead and then came with that cutter to strike out. I feel like the one thing he falls in love sometimes with that cutter, and he forgets that he throws 97 miles per hour.
I agree. I don't like him to show it to him too soon.
Absolutely. That's your strikeout pitch right there.
1 ball, no strikes. Hard hit ball right at Johan. He's got it. Throw across. Braves win it 5-3. A 5-3 putout. How ironic is that? Fireworks booming here at SunTrust Park. Braves have won 2 in a row, and fellas, they start this big stretch against the East with a win over the Marlins. They're now 7-3 against their friends from the South.
Yeah, well played game all around, and excellent pitching by the bullpen too.
Yeah, great job by Julio. He gave up 2 there within the first 2 batters, but I'll tell you what, he grinded and battled back, and then new guy in our bullpen. Great win for us.
Brock and Minter get it done in the 8th and 9th inning. Braves beat the Marlins in Game 1. Game 2 is tomorrow. Colby Allard will make his big league debut against Dan Straley. We'll set you up for Game 2. Recap Game 1 on Braves Live, presented by Xfinity. It's coming up next, live here from SunTrust Park.